I'm choosing the game this week, Bomb. Been thinking about this one for a while now. It's another supposedly perfect game. It always bothers me when people just willy-nilly give out 10 out of... Oh my god, that was fast. Yes! Already done with the whiteboard. You have no idea how long I've had this idea in my head. Your big idea is a Korok hidden in Zelda's butt? Well, I'm sure I'm gonna say something all clever like, you've gotta search every nook and crack to find all 900 Koroks, or something like that. We are covering what some people call the game of the decade, which I'll fight them on, and you're over here thinking about butt jokes? Well, I mean, come on! That butt's tighter than Solid Snake's buns of steel. That's some gluteus to the maximus right there. That butt is in like 12 frames of one cutscene. I don't think it needs that much attention. Did you know that Korok seeds are actually their little golden poops? And well, now, by making a Korok hide in a butt, I have just put the poop back inside of the butt. It's genius. You know, I always thought that older Zelda games just had some indescribable quality to them that the new ones just never had. But this game feels different. In Breath of the Wild, the developers finally took the game back to its roots by setting the player loose in a massive open world, letting them explore at their own pace. The beginning learning curve is very challenging on the opening Great Plateau, but once you get the hang of it, the game plays really well. You can watch me fumble my way through the beginning, all the way up to the final boss, the DLC missions, and every single shrine in the game in my extensive Let's Play series, shameless plug. This game really doesn't teach you much of anything at all, and in that sense, it feels a lot like those old Zelda games I loved so much, but it plays so much better with so much more content to explore. But it can't all be sunshine and rainbows. I started this video with a butt joke, and I intend to clear the room with another. Why? What do you... Oh, come on! There's a lot to say here considering how huge the game is, so let's divvy this up into pros and cons. Bomb? The open world feels very natural and free, especially once you get the ability to paraglide to any point on the map after the tutorial. However, it has its restraints. Rain prevents you from climbing, lightning prevents you from equipping metal, and Rivali's Gale completely subverts nearly all overworld level design by letting you fly right over it all. These just make exploration less fun and add nothing. You'll uncover shrines, which are like mini temples, allowing you to fast travel and solve a puzzle or two to acquire a spirit orb, 4 of which will let you gain a heart container or a stamina vessel. But you can't max them both, even with the DLC, which is extremely annoying to perfectionists. Granted, it never matters anyway, considering how overpowered Link becomes in this game. For the first time in Zelda history, you'll be collecting and upgrading various armor parts with skills and defense values. You'll also be gathering ingredients on the fly and cooking your own meals for health and skill buffs, rather than collecting simple hearts and blue potions. But with tons of gear adds tons of time sifting through your ever-growing inventory, swapping outfits, and eating meals while paused. This adds nothing to the game but more time spent in menus, and does nothing but diminish the game's difficulty as Link lugs around an entire Macy's clothing department and a freaking farmer's market in his pockets. Link will be taking down 4 main temples before venturing to Hyrule Castle and defeating Ganon. Though you can ignore all of that and just bomb rush the big guy with your opening 3 hearts armed with nothing but a stick if you felt like it. But those 4 temples are disappointingly short, and all have shoehorned short story segments that add nothing to the plot as a whole. You can complete a ludicrous amount of side quests for characters from all over the map. The real beauty in the game is just naturally stumbling on different things as you go, as everyone's playthroughs will be different. Though open and free, the fear of stumbling on a dangerous area drops immediately when you realize you can always pause all combat, change gear, eat as much health and stat buffs as you want, and even fast travel away with literally no consequences. Your final boss fight with Ganon will get easier with the help of the 4 freed guardians and makes for a climactic final battle. He does, however, require the player to know and be able to pull off a move the game never taught them. Also, his second phase is a complete joke and makes it feel pretty anticlimactic after your first epic battle. There is so much to do in this game. It could easily sink upwards of 200 hours out of your life. Now that is certainly not a bad thing. But it can be if you get tired of doing the same things over and over again. Now, to some, exploration never gets old. But when the world doesn't have quite enough variety to fill its ludicrous space, then it'll start to drain on you eventually. The DLC adds a surprising amount of content, complete with a new temple and a unique series of side missions. It's definitely worth getting for that. And having access to Hero's Path and Master Mode. Master Mode, unfortunately, isn't difficult at all to an experienced player, due to how breakable this game is with pause cheesing and teleporting. I beat every single shrine and temple and Ganon again before realizing Master Mode, this game's crazy hard mode, never killed me, even once. And possibly best of all, Link cross-dresses as a woman and loves it. There's a ton we didn't have time to mention here because the game is simply too huge. And that, I'll give you, is not a problem. Zelda's butt. Talking about the gameplay. Damn straight we are. I gotta say, at first I was really bummed they were keeping the cel-shaded look after all the tech demos through the years after Skyward Sword assaulted our eyes, but this isn't bad. I really love how cinematic the sunrises look through the mountains. The skyboxes have the potential of being absolutely breathtaking when you reach the right place and time. However, some places are bland to the max. The wrong place and time will give you a dull, washed out series of grays, which only makes the nice places all the more special. Enemy design and characters look okay. Some traditional enemies look great, all matching an aesthetic theme, but some characters just never felt right to me. Zelda games have always been a little weird through the awkward and creepy characters fully fleshing out the world. So I guess like the rest of the graphics, I thought I was gonna be really let down, and in the end, I wasn't. I guess the graphics in this game aren't something you really think about until you stumble upon something really amazing. Just like Zelda's. No! There pretty much is no story. That's not true. You get drip-fed story through memories and temple completion. We learn about the 4 guardians and about what happened to Hyrule 100 years ago. The story with each of the guardians sucks out loud. They have little to no characterization, nor do any of them have any semblance of a character arc. They're all just token, one-dimensional nobodies. But what they do with Zelda this time is actually really nice. She and Link have this growing dynamic between them that actually changes over the course of the memories as Zelda begins to accept Link not only as an initially unwanted protector assigned by her father, but also as someone to confide in as they journey along together. I do agree, that's much better, but it sure as heck didn't culminate to anything after finally reaching her after defeating Ganon. Here comes the one little spoilery bit if you're worried. 3, 2, 1. All right, spill it, hamster. Literally nothing happens. The game just stops. Oh, come on! It's subtle, but she wonders if this companion she's grown to care for still remembers her after being sealed away for 100 years. And based on how you've played your game, you as a player know the answer to that. It's kind of sad but sweet. But that's it. She has one short line, and that's it. The game just cuts off without any real satisfying conclusion whatsoever. The game just stops. I honestly thought my game was messed up when I first booted it up. The menu is completely silent, and so is the vast majority of this game. It's an artsy choice to reflect the destroyed civilization after 100 years. Plus, it's never really silent with some sort of piano melodies quietly playing in the background. Some of the piano themes are really nice. The exploration themes can be soothing and make the journey feel organic. Battles are also really energetic in comparison too. Oh man, Heading to Hyrule Castle and getting the original themes from Link to the Past era just gave me goosebumps. Plus, the themes seamlessly transition between indoors and outdoors as you explore. I only wish more of the game had moments like that with the music. There's very little to stumble upon that we can recognize from other Zelda games, other than a few monuments, none of which carry their own thematic music like Hyrule Castle does. Yeah, but it makes the Temple of Time and the decrepit Lon Lon Ranch just feel dead and forgotten. And that's the point. The only real action is at the castle. But for the hundreds of hours you'll be spending out in the wilderness, you won't be irritated or anything by the subtle music. It feels more like an improv track than anything, keeping it feeling fresh, but also perpetually unhummable. I don't know how I feel about that. Me neither. Do you own a Nintendo Switch? It's probably because of this game. But if by some happenstance you still haven't played Breath of the Wild, why? Like seriously, why? If you're into maximizing a bang for your buck in terms of gameplay hours to game cost, then this might be one of your best picks for the Nintendo Switch. If you're one to get distracted easily, then you might want to steer clear of this game. You will never put it down. If you're one of the 12 sorry saps in the world who bought a Wii U, I've got great news! There's finally something to play on it! The positive gamer in me loved Breath of the Wild to bits, giving it a strong 9 out of 10 for breaking away from a stagnating Zelda formula and getting back to what made the series good to begin with. It plays well with tons of things to do, but still has a handful of quirks that keep me from handing out a perfect score. Hopefully, the sequel can build upon this foundation and raise the game to new heights. The critical gamer in me struggles to look past this game's many flaws, but is still willing to give it a solid 7 out of 10. The graphics, music, and story can lull to a mediocre meh at times, but the gameplay itself holds up this circus tent well enough to just take them all in stride. This game is great, but don't kid yourself and pretend that it's perfect. Though I love this game, it's not even my favorite Zelda game. This is also the case where the longer you play the game, the more evident its problems will become. It's great, but not perfect. But what do you think? Let us know how your positive and critical sides rate Zelda Breath of the Wild in the comments below. If you believe a game must be perfect just because it gets 10 out of 10s online, you're just playing with yourself. Special thanks to William for sending me a copy of the game to begin with. So William, you rock. Let's also not forget the good people on Patreon for keeping this channel going. Big thanks to Atomic Thomas, Ben, Sid, Denny, Erica, Kai, Patrick, Pyro Joe, Rowan, and Squad Fam. Bless you guys. Remember to like the videos and subscribe for more. I will see you guys in the next episode. Booyah!